Okay, we're learning the Ilun Nishmas again. Yaakov ben Sia and ben Mordechai, Chavatov ben Bizi Weiss, and Gussie Goritzman, Gittel Bas Avraham. This is a very fine lady, and the Neshama should have an Aliyah. Okay, the Gemara. Let's go back to the Mishnah because we dealt with the Mishnah. Is very interesting Mishnah. We had this Yisaidistic Machloikas about Yimud Hana, and you couldn't have regarding Truma. You were able to separate Trumas and Maisa. We Zetstein is speaking where what the person said, Kala writes a literally in Bal B'Tarim, where he's allowing him to go ahead and take Truma, but he's not designating him a Shliach ad Kedei Kach that he'd be considered having enough from him. So maybe we did a nice job on that. We spoke about Kinei Zav and Mezavos, that what Mechusah Kippurim, why Dafka Mechusah Kippurim, because you need Das. Since you don't need Das, there's no Shlichus. That was the second. It's funny, he went out of order, the Mishnah, right? When explained it out of order. And finally, we're up to the last part of the Mishnah, fellas. Let's see the last part of the Mishnah inside the Mishnah. Lamed Hey Amid Aleph at the top dock. Umalamed Medrash Halachas V'Agados. You could teach him Medrash. That's Sifra Sifri Mechilta. Halachas V'Agados. That's Gemara. Avaloyil Medenu Mikra, but you can't teach him Chumash. However, Amalamed who has born of Esmanos of Mikra. You could teach what his kids Chumash. So now, why are you able to teach Gemara, Mechilta, Sifri? Why? Is because even though you're having enough for learning, the mitzvah of learning is mitzvah lav lehenes nitnu. So there's no mitzvah lav lehenes nitnu. But you can't teach him Chumash. Once you're getting it to teach him Chumash, it must be there's monetary compensation. Because guys, if it's just the etzem learning, guys, listen up. If it's just the etzem learning, that's the mitzvah to learn, right? In other words, if I was mudahana now from everyone on the screen and everyone sitting here, you all can learn from me. Why? Because I'm not getting paid for this, right? I'm not getting paid for this. It's a mitzvah, right? We're learning. Once monetary compensation would take place, then it already gets into the Inyan of Anah. So when it says over here that you can't teach him Chumash, there must be an aspect of monetary compensation, which we'll see right now. Okay, I think that's a good segue into the daf. Says the daf, we're holding Lamed Vav on the base. We're about four lines to the bottom. So Mikra. Have a loyal medena, Mikra my time a loyal medena. Why can't you teach him Chumash? Mishum de Kamahanile, because he's having Anah. Says the Gemara, Medrash Nami Kamahanile. Then Medrash also is having Anah. Right now, we don't know anything about monetary compensation, right? We assume that okay. Now, obviously, it must be whatever exists by one exists by the other. So if you're going to tell me mitzvah lav lehenes nitnu, it's across the board. And if you can tell me there's monetary compensation, it's across the board. In other words, where's our distinction between Gemara, Medrash, and Chumash? Where is our distinction? So Amar Shmuel, b'makom shed noitlin schar ala mikra, ve'ein noitlin schar ala medrash. Here is what we're speaking about. They would take money for mikra, for teaching Chumash. Now you mudana, he can't pay you. So what do? You're Michael. Well, guess what happened? He just had Anah. You're Michael. He had Anah. Masha'en kain, if they don't take schar for what? For Gemara, so then it's just mitzvah lav lehenes nitnu. Now so we're making a distinction. Chumash they take money for. Therefore, he has to be Michael because he's not allowed to have Anah. But by being Michael, you're having Anah. Masha'en kain by. So this has nothing whatsoever to do with what you're learning. It has to do whether you're giving compensation or not. So why does Gemara make it dependent? Medrash this way, Gemara this way. Just say following: if it's something, whatever the subject matter is, you get paid for. You can't teach it. If it's a subject matter, you can't. So it has nothing to do with the fact that it's Chumash or the fact that it's Medrash. Nothing. It has to do whether you're Michael or not. As I read the Gemara, my Pascha. What's the reasoning behind this? It doesn't make sense like a chilik. It should, if it's contingent upon monetary compensation, it shouldn't have anything to do with the subject matter. Says the Maral Kamash Bulan. Here it is. Lamed Zayin Amar Aleph. Dafil b'makom shenoitlen schar ala mikra shari l'mishakel ala medrash lo shari l'mishakel or l'mish to take. Pirish. Here's the chiddush. You're right. The whole subject, whether you can accept or not, whether you can have Anah or not, depends upon whether you get money or not. But even in a place where you're allowed to take money for Chumash, you're not allowed to take money for Medrash, Gemara, and so on. Okay, and we're going to see why in a second. So that's the chiddush of the Mishnah. That even though, in general, you can take money again. You can take money for Chumash. You can take money for Gemara. Now, what's the reason? Ma'ishla Medrash Delay. What's the reason that's Medrash you can't take money for? So what does it say? It says, "V'oisi tziva Hashem be'esahi l'lamid estem Moshe says, Hashem has commanded me to teach you. Ukasiv, re'ei lamarti eschem, chukim mishpatim, kashet tzivani Hashem. I taught you the chukim mishpatim, like what? Like Hashem told me to. Right? Chukim mishpatim, obviously, what is l'charis mechilta. Ma'ani bechinam, afatem nami bechinam. So l'chaira, that's the reason. In other words, it says that just like Moshe taught us bechinam, you have to teach bechinam. Try the Gemara, listen. This is speaking about everything. Hashem didn't just limit it to Torah Sheb Bal Peh. He said Torah Sheb Chsav also. So if that's bechinam, this also must be bechinam. No, Fred the Gemara, mikra nami bechinam. Okay, so now, where is your heta to take money from mikras? Guys, we have a terrace. We have a terrace. We have a terrace. We have a terrace. Okay, what's that terrace? In a place where you're permitted to take money for what? For teaching Chumash, you're never allowed to go ahead and charge money for the medrash. That's that. I mean, Mela, if I'm not allowed to touch money for medrash, if I'm muda hanor, you can't have enough for me, I could teach you. Why? Because what hanor is it? The geschmack from Torah? What's that? It's a mitzvah. What do we say? Mitzvah lav lehenisnitnu. Good, very good. But for Chumash you could take. Now the question is why? In other words, the same source that tells me that just like Moshe taught us bechinam, you have to teach bechinam. That same source also would tell me you can't teach Chumash bechinam from money. What's the reason you could take money? So that's the rest of the daf. Machlokes between Rabbi and Shmuel, and the rest of the daf questioning. Okay, so we know we got pshat in the Mishnah, and now just we're going to see a reason, and then the daf is going to go into that reason. We have space over here, Rabbi Yomi, if you want to come down, in striking distance, we got right there, right behind Ari, very good spot there. Right? A bottle of water. What? A bottle of water there, left Poland Springs, everything's good. Okay, anyway, good guys. Big crowd on this Thursday night makes you feel good. Talk to the walls too, I've done that. No, you know what it's like saying the daf in front of a screen during COVID, or there's no one there whatsoever. It's not so make a recording and there's no one there. It's not the easiest thing in the world to do. It's a natural thing. Speak to people, especially when they don't know what's going on. You say you're right, and they go right. They'll bobblehead, right? Yeah, bobblehead. But you really know what they mean is like, they'll bobblehead. Like you understand when the Rebbe, more times the Rebbe says right. You know what that means? No one knows the slang. Okay, anyway, but right now I think we do know what slang. So now what's the reason you could take money for mikra? Again, it can't l'chora be the etzem teaching. Because ma'atem bechinam, just like I think ani bechinam, ma'atem bechinam. If you're taking money, it can't be what for the etzem teaching the Torah. So what must it be? Says the Gemara. Okay, ma'ani bechinam after bechinam, mikra nami bechinam. Rav Amar schar shimur. Now mikra, who's learning chumash, guys? Kiddies. So you're getting it's babysitting. Says Rav, it's babysitting. It's you're getting money for baby. No, there's a lot of truth to that. No, it's true. Okay, look at no guys. Look at guys. Look at Taisus. Look at Taisus. Schashimur. Taisus. Guys, Schashimur. Shemishamer. You watch them. Malami tinaikis. Shlayelchu ana va'ana. They shouldn't go over here and over there, and they shouldn't run around. Aval medrash ain't it tzarich lil moed kim legadol. You teach medrash to a gadol. Shein it tzarich shimur kiben esra l'shana. Like okay. Now look at the rush is even more clear. Shimur noilin al na'arim ketanim. You take money for young kids. Haloim the mikra l'shamram shlayelchu b'rchayvais ub'shukim v'yeziku. They should go out in the streets and do damage. He's a rush. The rush was a rishon. Yeah, nothing's changed. They can't let the kids out. Now, you hear this, guys. Listen to this. You'll let them out in the streets, they'll damage, and you'll be mechanech them for bad things. It's not just shimur here, it's everything's chinuch. The shimur is that you're watching them that they shouldn't learn to do terrible things. The gewaldig. It's a nice rush to know, right? So that's the schar to make sure the kids don't go ahead and the gang, right? They don't go out and damage things and learn ben midas. It's a fantastic rush, guys. Okay, rush is a rishon. Anyway, so that's Rav. The schar shima you're getting for schar shima. Says the Gemara. Now there's a different opinion. That's the opinion of Rabbi Yochanan. What does Rabbi Yochanan say? Says Rabbi Yochanan, schar pisik timing. It's the schar for pisik timing. For this, let's go to the rush. Schar pisik timing, guys. The rush important. Locate the rush, please. What is pisik timing? Linagein hamikrois kilchasan. To me'asha. Linagein, to be menagain, to say the truck. Pisuk timing is the truck. The truck, not the truck. The truck. The truck. I got two balikarim on the screen. Meya and Yehuda Yosef. Now it's linagain. It's pashat the truck. Kilchasan v'lav deraisa. Who guys key? It's not deraisa. Yishari lit the schar love, and therefore it's permitted to take schar. Guys, if pisuk timing was deraisa, then ma'ani bechinam afatem bechinam. It's no different than medrash, right? In other words, it has to be that it's not midaraisa. Midaraisa, Moshe says, I taught you for nothing. You have to teach for nothing. So we have two reasons you can teach chumash. One, either to be a babysit, according to Rav, or two, you're getting schar for pisuk timing for teaching things that are what, that are not deraisa, which we wouldn't apply the limit of ma'ani bechinam afatem bechinam, right? That's the two drachim. Rav says as shimor, and Rabbi Yochanan says as what as pisuk timing, the truck. Very geschmack. Says the Gemara. Bishlema lemanda amar, very good according to Bad. Tanan. Loyal mudenu mikra. What does the Mishnah say? Guys, what does the Mishnah say? Loyal mudenu mikra. You can't go ahead, if you mudahana, teach that person chumash. Bishlema lemanda amar schar pisuk taimim. Hainu loyal mudena. El lemanda amar schar shimor. Gadol bar shimahu. Now, pashtus. If you told the person you can't have a no, who are you speaking to? An adult or a kid? What? An adult. So Bishleim, according to Rabbi Yochanan, who says the reason you can't teach is an adult reason, truck makes sense. But if you're telling me else babysitting, you have to babysit an adult? Well, the person that you made the neder for is an adult. And for the Gemara, big cotton, katani. It's speaking about a cotton, meaning enachinami. The person you can't teach is a cotton. You will mudahana that the cotton can't have enough from you. Now, what was the next din of the Mishnah, guys? Avol yilmadenu, you could teach his children. Right. Guys, the next din, but flowing along. If you're telling me you mikra is what speaking about a cotton, so to continue on. But you could teach the cotton's kids. If he's a cotton, he doesn't have kids. Read Gemara. Eat the cotton, aim a sefer. Avol malamed as bon of mikra. Cotton barbonim who? In other words, you can't stick it in that is speaking about cotton because the latter part of the Mishnah says that. After the Gemara, you know what? Missing words. Missing words. Loyal medenu mikra b'cotton. B'cotton. Imhoya gadol. Malamda loyal bon of mikra. So no, it's loyal medenu mikra b'cotton. That's that part of the Mishnah speaking about a cotton. Why? Because of shimur. However, imhoya gadol then malamda loy. You could teach him. Ulibana of Mikra. Then you could teach him and his sons Mikra. So in other words, we help. What? You could teach him and Skashim is good. Or, yeah, him himself and the sons. Okay, now Mesave. Good, Mesave. We're so now we help serve, right? Okay, again, Rav, babysitting, Rabbi Yochanan, piece of time. Mesave. Tinoikis loikorim betchila b'Shabbos. A kid should not learn something on Shabbos. You should not learn something new on Shabbos. It's going to share your Einik Shabbos. It's going to share your Einik Shabbos. Ella, Shoin and Berishain, they can go Chazir with the first time. Even the first time, that no, it's not something they Chazir 100 times. Even the first time you could Chazir, but don't teach them something new. Now, Bishleim Lamand Amas Schar Pisuk Taimim Hainu Dein Korim B'Tchila B'Shabbos. That would make sense. That what? You can't teach them something new on Shabbos. Right? Good. You know, in other words, how can you teach them anything? You can't. You're in doing a business transaction on Shabbos, right? You're going ahead what? And you're babysitting. Look at the Ran, guys. Bishleim lamad yamaschar pisuk taimim hainu dein korim b'tchila b'Shabbos. The ikaschar is for what? It's for the first time you teach it. Shetircha miruba, to teach something the first time. Guys, when we come across a Gemara that you have many times, no big deal, right? Now, right now, we come across Gemaras in Yavamis. It's a piece of cake, right? We love that, right? We see the word Yavamis say, hey, we got it in Tash, right? We got it. We come across it, it's no problem, right? So once you learn something already, you know it. You know why? The schar Shabbos asa. You can't make money on Shabbos. So Bishleim Manuel Pisik Taimim, I understand why you can't teach someone on Shabbos, because mamish, there you are, you're going to be working really hard to teach him. Once he knows it already, you're not taking money for the review. So now it fits in. What's the din? Don't teach a kid something new on Shabbos. That works well. The man the Omar that you're getting schar Pisik Taimim, because what's the ikka money you're getting is for the etzim din teaching it to him. But you can't make money on Shabbos. But Mashain came for the review. I already geflanced the Torah in. I planted the Torah in him already, right? So therefore, there's nothing to talk about. But guys, there's no difference. If you're babysitting, what difference does it make what you're teaching him? Once you're babysitting, right? However, if you're babysitting, Elman the Amas continues the Ran. Elman the Amas Chashima. Amai ain't Kairin. Why can't you teach him, son? Claimer. My ikka bein primary shreina l'shliya. What difference is teaching him the first time, or the second time, or the third time, or the fourth time? It's only for babysitting. When you repeat it. So again, we're attacking Rav. What's the attack? We have halacha psuka. Don't teach someone something new on Shabbos. Says the Gemara that fits in good to Rabbi Yochanan. Why can't you teach something new? Because then you're making money on Shabbos. Because you get money what for teaching the initial halacha. But once you can review, because that is not yischav for. It doesn't make a difference what you're teaching with babysitting, right? So therefore, it's a kashan Rav. Says the Gemara, schar piece of Shabbos miyasa is schar piece of Shabbos. Why should it be us to teach something new? About havlahi, it's havlah, havlah misrashari. Guys, one of the if you're contract out, you're a Rabbi, right? Let's say you teach a kid something for a week. So you're allowed to teach him on Shabbos. Why? Because the money for Shabbos is swallowed up. Havlah, bola, is swallowed up for the rest of the week. So you have a great pshat that you don't have to come out to that pshat. Why? You should be able to. Why? Says the Gemara in the Tanya. Like if someone hires a babysitter, lishmer sapara. Now the babysitter for the tinoik is now. See, this is something I taught you. Paraduma, kid, on the rock, because the tumas at the home. Remember, these kids were raised on a rock. They're supposed to be like this. The kids are raised on a rock, right? Why? We were at tumas at the home, yeah? So very geschmack. He was raised on a rock, and all lishmer sapara to watch the parah itself. Lishmer says royim to watch royim. Ain't nice in Shabbos. Then, since you just hired him, contracted as a day worker, then on Shabbos you can't get paid. Lefikach amid beis im avdu ein chai b'achriusan. If since he's not taking money, he's a shemechinam. So therefore, whatever loss you take, if he loses it, it's finished. However, if he's a worker for a week, or he's a contractor for a month, shana for a year, mamish, he has a what's that when you have a contract all the time? What's that called? Hesh, when you have a contract, guy comes to your house, guys, you have a contract. What's that called? You know what I'm talking about? Service contract, right? Service contract. You have a service contract for 7 years. Therefore, it's lost. He's a shlemis sacha. So what do you see? Elod, that you can't learn on Shabbos has nothing to do with schar. It must be another reason. And therefore, I'm answering you. You have a kasha on me, Rav. That what if this shouldn't be a difference? Guess what? It has nothing to do with taking schar and a business, and therefore schar piece of time makes sense and shima doesn't make sense. That's a totally different reason why you can't learn on Shabbos, which has nothing to do with taking money on Shabbos. What's the reason? Here's the reason. Shabbos the yifnu avoisan the yenuka lemitzvas the shabta. Says the Ran, this is the time where you want to spend time with your kid on Shabbos. This is the time you want to spend time with your kid on Shabbos. If your kid is going to be busy learning on Shabbos new stuff, he won't have time to go home and sit with his tati. It's like, I'll give you a great example. How many times have you had this pleasure of preparing your son for a vachina on Shabbos? That wonderful Shabbos that you have experience. We all have that feeling. Look at that. The silence goes over the crowd, right? That feeling of, oh my God. This is what they're teaching you. Varshas, you're sitting, you're plopping, you think you know what you're talking about. You really know you don't. And you tell your kid, you understand. He says, yeah, you don't understand. He doesn't understand. He gets it wrong on the test. Everything works out well. And we've all had that wonderful feeling, right? I'm in the middle of a rant. And what are you doing? Cut me off like nothing, nothing. Zero. I can't believe it. 65 years you've been doing this thing. Yeah, what can I do? What can I do? We're at the window because there's nothing to do with money. Havla took care of everything. I was on a roll, Hesh. What? You were not expanding. No, you were just like you're just pushing my flower bed. Now, so over here, guys, you hear this? Shut up. Anyway, so don't worry, no one listens anyway. So here we go, guys. You hear? Yeah. So no, look at Lashon Haran, beautiful Lashon Haran, guys. The Yifnu Avoyin, the Yenuka, the Mitzvah of the Shabbata, Sha'avois Hatinoikis poinin the Mitzvah Shabbos. They're what? They're poinim. They're available. They're turned away from Mitzvah Shabbos. Umishtashim im Hatinoikis, and they take pleasure in their child. The Mikra Hatinoikis lachatchila yechusha liv toilam. You're going to be mevatel it. So therefore, that's the reason. So Mamela, that's the reason you learn something new on Shabbos. So even Sai Kontiman Yom a piece of timim, Sai Kontiman babysitting doesn't make a difference. So Rav has held serve. Rav is a beautiful teretz. Rav has held serve. People Yisema B'Shem Shabbata Ochlan B'Shosin B'Yakar Aleim. Shabbos they eat a lot, they drink a lot. B'Yakar Aleim, and it's heavier upon the kids. Guys, have it heavier. Once you eat, you have a cholent, you're not moving that quick, right? You have a few drinks, you're certainly not moving that quick, right? So the kids eat. So don't teach them something new because it's harder because of Shabbos. And where do you know that when you change your routine, something's bad? So Alama Kedama Shmuel, Shino Yvesa, we had this. When you change your cycle, we had Ksubas, guys. A change in the cycle, it's the beginning of a stomach problem. See you, Cholem. Right. It's good for business, right? Okay, so guys, so very good. So Rav is held serve, he has Chashima, he's held serve, time in beautiful Gemara to explain everything. Okay, Ulaman Amaschar piece of time like Rabbi Yochanan, my time Amaschar Shimur. Why doesn't he hold of Rav? Rav is very pashut. So it says the Gemara Ksava Bonois Vika Boyin Shimur. It says Tinaikis, guys. What's a Tinaikis? No, Tinaikis is a girl. Yeah, Tinaikis is a girl. I think you should know. I call you that all the time. Bonois Mika Boyin Shimur. Do they need Shimur? So therefore, obviously not. What in Rabbi Rav? Not like about Rabbi Yochanan's Pshat, guys. Savar pisik taimim deraisa. He says it's deraisa. In other words, the nigunim trop is deraisa. So memela it's subject to the same thing of ma ani bechinam v'atem bechinam. If I held that pisik taimim is deraisa, I can't say that's the reason I'm giving you. I'm not. I have to teach you bechinam. I can't take money for that. And we're saying why you can take money for chumash. So if you're going to hold that it's piece of taimim, you won't be able to take money for it because that's again what Moshe Rabbeinu said. So therefore, you had to come up with a different reason, and the reason was babysitting. Now the Gemara just digresses and says a lot of interesting things. Okay, I'm just going to use this. This is a very because I want to get the right thing. What? Tomorrow's good. Yeah, tomorrow's daf's going to be 11 o'clock. I have to go to work. Tomorrow's daf will be 11 o'clock. I have to go. I'm sorry. Very good. Anyway, so says the Gemara. Says the Gemara. Here, now, how do you know schar piece of time is the rice? How do you know the chops the rice? The Amar of Ikabar Ovin, Amar of Chananel, Amar Rav. What does the pasuk say? Right. What does the pasuk say? Ma'idich Siv in Ezra, guys. Ezra called the people when the oil Lagoyla. What happened was Ezra is now. He is the background over here. The Gemara is describing Ezra reading the Torah to the Bnei who went up. The people who went to Yerushalayim. Remember, most of the people stayed in Bavel. These are the people who went up. So the background is he's laning for them now. What does it say? It says Vayikru b'Sefer Torah Elokim. He said he read in the Sefer Torah Elokim. I'll read the whole pasuk. Mefayresh v'sam sechel v'yavinu b'mikra. Now, what does that mean? Vayikru b'Sefer Torah Elokim ze mikra. That's Torah shebechsav. Mefayresh ze targum. That was targum of targum. Now, you might ask a question: who wrote targum, guys? Onkelos lived when? By a sheni. This is way before. So you see that they had a targum that was forgotten. Onkelos restored it. Yeah, Onkelos restored it. Onkelos restored it. There's a very good ma'amokim, guys. Very good ma'amokim. You hear, fellas, that Onkelos restored this. It had been forgotten. Because Ezra's saying this pasuk's b'mei Ezra, guys. This is the beginning of between Bayis Rishon and Bayis Sheni. They didn't build the Bayis. They built the Bayis Sheni, and Onkelos lived at the end of the Bayis Sheni. Now, Zeh Targum. The Som Seichel. What's Som Seichel? Ela Pesukim. Those are what the Chalukim, the Pesukim that you're able to understand the pasuk. Vayavinu Mikra. Zeh Pisuk Tamim. So why do you see that Pisuk Tamim is their Raisa, right? Why? Vimila others say Elam Messiris. This is the Messiah, right? How to write it, write it with a vav, without a vav, to write it that way. So Rav holds that Vayivinu B'Mikra is what? Is Pisuk Tamim. Therefore, you can't take schar for it, and therefore, how do you like to take schar for chumash? It must be for babysitting. It must be for babysitting. Okay, the Gemara continues. Rabbi Yitzchak Mikra Seifrim. This is a different on the psukim of the Torah. Rabbi Yitzchak Mikra Seifrim. What's Mikra Seifrim? That we're going to see. The Ita Seifrim. We'll see what that is. The Karyan and things that you read like Ksivan and you don't write. Ksivan that you write for like Karyan you don't read. Halach L'Meish Misinai. All these things. These things. Mikra Seifrim, Ita Seifrim, written without written and written without read are all Allah Moshe Sinai. Now, the Gemara explains what's Mikra Seifrim that was said by Moshe Sinai. That's how to pronounce the word. Eretz, sometimes you say Eretz. Shemayim instead of Somim, Mitzrayim instead of Mitzrim, right? So the way to pronounce it is Halach Moshe Sinai. Good. That's Mikra Seifrim. What's Ita Seifrim? Ita literally, guys, means to crown, to adorn, a terrace, right? It's an adornment. So this we're going to say is something that is just the language is more poetic, like poetic. What's a poetic license? Embellish, right? So embellishing this. So now, Ita Seifrim, for example, Achat Havayru, the word Achat is extra. Achat Telech, the word Achat is extra. Achat Teyasef, after you'll gather in, Achat's extra. Kid Musarim. Achar Noikshim, the Ach is extra. Tzidchosla Kahare Kale is the kit is extra. So let's eat the Seifrim. In other words, where to go ahead and put something in to just make it sound more nicer is Halacha Moshe Sinai. Okay. Karyan V'loi Ksivin, that it's read and not written. It's read and not written. Halacha Moshe Sinai. Okay, I'm going to just go through it. But I looked up two of them. You look it up, there's no word there, but you read it, you say it, but there's no word there. So, for example, what's a case of a word that's read, not seen? And you can look up any one of these things, you'll see Paras de Belechtoi. It says Vayach David es Haderezer ben Rochav Melech Tzoiva Belechtoi when he went Lahashem Yadai ben Har, and then it adds the word Pras, even though it's not written. Ish. It says the pasuk says also in Shmuel Aleph Beis the Kashayish Ish Midvar Elakim. It says Ve'etzachi Toifel Eshayotz B'Yom Mahem Kashayishal Dvar Elakim. And then it says Kasha Yishal Ish, and doesn't say the word Ish. And the word Bo'im in the pasuk of the Nvasa, it says there Hina Yomim Noim Hashem, B'Nivasoi Ir Lashem, Migdal Chananel Shar Hapina Umaisifim Kri Hani Yomim Bo'im V'Chena Mila Allah in the pasuk the Fleta and the pasuk the Hugade in the pasuk of Ayan Boaz Vayom Allah in Rus Haged Li Kol Shar Sisi Chamesecha Achim Mas Ishech if your husband died Umaisifim Kri Kol Shar Sisi Es Chamesech. It says the word what? Es. Eli, the Hagairin, the word Hagairin. Batami Leah, Kosher Tami Yaseh, or Masifin Shekatami Eli. Eli, the Dasoirim, and Holain and Karyan. Okay, so these are all a case of what? Karyan, it's read like Ksivan, they're not written. And what about Ksivan like Karyan? Allah Mishmisina, that is what? That Ksiv like Karyan is not the Pasik, not in the Pasik Yislach. Ishtach base. The Hashem you say the word Hashem. Another example of it, Amid Aleph, it's placed in the pasuk the Hamitzvah. In the pasuk it says, and the Chen Amila Yidroich, and then the Hadoirech, Ad Yidroich Hadoirech Kashtoi, the Koyim Rakes. We leave at the second Hadoirech, we only say the first one. The Chen the Mila Chamesh Hashonim a pasuk. The fast negev, it says the fast negev chamesh meos barba melef. The koyim rakas chamesh rishon. It says chamesh twice, but you only read the first one. So these all ksiv. It's written v'leikri. The Chenamila in the pasuk, the Chigoyel, the Ata ki omnam ki im goyel anoichi v'kayer b'li ha'im. We don't say the im. Halein in the pasuk. All of these ksivim v'leikari, and all these are what are said. They are written and they're not what, they're not read. Let's conclude the Gemara. Amrav Achabar Ada b'Marav in Eretz Yisrael paskin lahadei psukin. They would take this pasuk and they divide it up with tilsa psukim. What does the pasuk say? Vayoyma Hashem el Moshe hine anachi bo'elecha ba'ava anayin ba'avo yishma om b'divrei amcha v'gam b'cho yaminu la'olam v'yagid Moshe divrei am el Hashem. We read it as one pasuk and they break it up to 3 psukim. Gemara Shita Gubetzis on the Daf here says this. At the end of the Gemara Megillah tells, well, we go through the cycle once in Eretz Yisrael, they go through it 3 times. They took this pasuk, guys, they divided it up into 3 times. They had to go ahead to extend the cycle. So they took the pasuk and they learned it 3 times. So according to this, Pesach timing is deraisa. Good. I'll show you a Vilna Gaon. I sent it on the phone. I show a Vilna Gaon. It's kedai to sit and be bored and share the whole night for this. It's unbelievable. It's unbelievable. Guys, we got to see this. This definitely making the right, the blog. This is one of the top places of the year. Okay, I don't have my phone. I don't have my phone, but look on something. Okay.
Put your hands on the table.
It's funny.
There's so much store on this.
Why can't I get this? This is not good. Okay. I don't know why. I thought it was better. Anyway, if you look at the bottom, it's a very small. Says the Gemara, Isa the Gemara, Papa. This is a Gemara in Baba Basra, guys. The Papa have a solik bidarga. The Papa was going up a ladder. Ishtamit kare, and the rung, it fell down. Boy maple, he was going to fall. So Amalei Rav Chia bar Rav midifti le Rav Papa said Rav Chia bar Rav midifti Rav Papa Shema ani boy liyadcha. Maybe an ani came to your house, v'loy parnasasai, and you didn't give him parnasa. So Sarach lehavin minalei le Rav Chia the einish hayim ifnezeh. How did he know that he was falling down? Right. We have to do with the fact that he gives tzedakah. Now look what it's going on the pasuk, guys. It's going on the pasuk. In other words, Rav Chia bar Rav Avdimi told Rav Papa, if you're falling off the ladder, it must be what? Because you didn't give tzedakah, and none of you came to the house. So what does the pasuk say? What does the pasuk say, guys? Open you should open your hand. Give it his basic sustenance. Now I got a Balkaira over here. What is the trup under the word Pesoach Tiftach? Darga severe. Darga in Aramaic is a rung. Severe in Aramaic is to break. Ki Pesoach Tiftach. Says the Vilna Gaon. If you're not going to give tzedakah, what's going to happen? Darga severe. The darga is going to go ahead, what? And break. How pelatic is that, guys? How pelatic is that? The Vilna Gaon. Unbelievable. So now you see that. The timing, halacha mashmi Sinai, the timing, and he's using it to explain in Yonim a divrei Baruch Hashem, seeing a pelatic of shot. Teleplay. Okay, tomorrow's gonna be about 11 o'clock. Have a great Shabbos, guys.